Hey, good day, folks. Welcome, everybody, to another episode live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. Rabbi Goldberg's been doing such a wonderful job teaching us the depths of the book of Genesis. We're learning so much, and it's always a joy to spend time with him and hear the Torah out of Jerusalem. We so appreciate it coming from Israel. And so let's just jump right in. We got a good group today. We got many people from all around the planet. We got Anna up in Norway. We got Netzak in the Czech Republic, Scotty and Terry down in Tennessee, Amuela, Timothy in Nova Scotia. We got the Mr. and Mrs. Goldberg with us from Israel as well, along with Tony in Arizona. We got Peshek Sherbo in Svat, and many, many, many more. If I missed anybody, please don't feel offended. Rabbi Goldberg, you've got the stage, sir. It's all yours. Let's have a wonderful class.
Good evening, everybody. Just a moment. I'm preparing one last thing. Good to see you all. We in Jerusalem, we are feeling fine. Everything is okay, even though we are sitting in the quarantine, but it's okay. It's okay. This is how it's all over the world, so we are part of the world. Good to see you all. Last week, we also had a very, very good meeting. A few hours from now, and we're going to do this another same this week. Last thing with doing a bit of a virtual tour this week. We're going to speak about Caesarea, so people are invited to that. Let me see that everything is running. Okay. From my perspective, I got a note from last week, and I think it's a right note that. It's a right note that I need to speak less and to give you also time to adjust and to ask questions. So I will try to do this this week. Terry, I'm always amazed from the nice background that we have behind you. It's really inspiring from time to time. And good to see all of you from all over the world, and also my parents here with sitting with us. Good to see you also. Let's straight ahead dive inside and go to see what's happening in just what's happening here. Okay, let me close the shutdown here. Excellent. Everything is excellent here. Can you see my screen? You can't, right? You can't see my screen yet.
No, sir.
In a moment, we will see my screen. I will do a share, and we will see my screen. We can start learning. Good to see you. Also, we have also people from Tzfat, not only from all over the world. Good to see you also.
Rabbi, can we get your microphone a little closer? It's so far away from where you're speaking.
Not a problem at all. Now you can hear me better?
A little bit, unless it's on your computer setup. But yeah, I'm not getting enough strength, or I'm getting just enough.
Let me see. Switch to test speakers. No, by us, everything is okay. No, it shows that everything is okay.
On the microphone as well?
I'm speaking now. Tell me if it's okay, if you can hear me loud enough.
You know, it's passable, Rabbi. It's passable. It's just we wish it was a little bit more. I can't crank any more juice out of it. But you go ahead. I mean, it'll be what it'll be.
Okay. So let me close this. Okay. Fair enough. I can hear myself twice? It's because of the...
That's perfect now.
Okay, now you can hear me better?
Full, yes.
Excellent. So let's share the screen and let's go dive inside to the world of the Bible, inside the Bible, inside what's happening. We just started with Noah last week. We spoke about Noah a bit, and we showed the difference between Noah as a righteoushood for the side of, or for the level of God who created this world, but he wasn't enough righteoushood for the level of God who is connected to the moral questions. And this is where he was supposed to get a bit of what we call chanina, mercy. God, we said it like that. We said that when you're taking some sort of a disaster that is coming on the world, For example, we're speaking about a mountain that is spitting out all the things from inside the ground or things like that. This is where the nature is not defining between righteous people or people who are bad people. And this is where Noah was. And when God wanted to bring the flood, Noah was supposed also to die in the flood. But God, who is above the laws of nature, gave him a lot of mercy and rescued him because he had inside the spark of Abraham that will come later on. Now, this week, I want to compare a bit Noah with Moses. We will go inside a bit. Now, I know that all of you for sure know Moses' story, but not in a full way. I will say it gently. Because the Noah story is a very, Moses' story is very complicated. And let's go a bit to see what's happening. So the first thing that I want to read is verse number 3 in this chapter. Before when we meeting Noah, where God basically said that he was a bit upset. We said it. So please read verse number 3. Done?
Verse 3. And the Lord said, let my spirit not quarrel forever concerning man, because he is also flesh, and his days shall be 120 years.
Okay, so God is aiming that we will go down from almost 1,000 years for a person to live to only 180 years. Who do we know that lived 180 years? We know that from the Bible. Just a moment, let me find it again. I want to skip a bit between the places of the Bible. So we'll go here. If we will go to the end of the Torah, come on, move on faster. Okay. If we'll go to the end of the Torah, if it will go out open to me. Oh, no, come on. Sorry. I was supposed to organize everything before.
No need to apologize, Rabbi.
I'm sorry. If we will go to the end of the Torah, we will find that there was one person that we all know who lived for 120 years. Okay, his name, please read verse number 7 here.
Verse number 7. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye had not dimmed, nor had he lost his natural freshness.
Okay, so we know that there was one person that the Bible is aiming already in Noah, when it's speaking about Noah, about this person. The person is Moses. He was also 120 years. And the Bible is hinting already here about Moses. Let's learn a bit about Moses and what's happening. But before that, we need to see something very amazing, very unusual. And I have a question, and please, it's very important for me, if it's okay, that you will give answers. While God is saying that he was upset of making man upon the earth, and he's saying that he's going to bring the flood. And he's saying this to Noah. He's saying here in verse number 13. Please read verse number 13.
13. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth has become full of robbery because of them, and behold, I am destroying them from the earth.
So point number 1 that we see here, that God is connecting man moral behavior, with the behavior of the world. Now, we are not regular to this thought. Usually we're saying that the world is behaving as it behaves. Okay, the nature is behaving as it behaves, and man is behaving in his ways. To connect between those two, to say that I'm going to bring a flood because of robbery, because of destroying, because of it says here only robbery, but it says in Hebrew it says also the Hamas, and also a lot of ishchit kol basar, the verse before that. There's also a lot of corruptions that is going. And because of this reason, God is going to do something bad to the world. This is something very unique, very new. But my question is, what is the advice that God is giving to Noah to do? Please read verse number 14.
14. Make for yourselves an ark of gopher wood, and you shall make the ark with compartments, and you shall caulk it both inside and outside with pitch.
How long it will take Noah to make this ark? Who knows?
120 years.
120 years. Wow. Why do we need so much time for doing this ark? Please don't answer. Give the others to answer. Why do we need so much time? Please, people. Ideas.
So that
I'm
people
listening.
would repent.
Sorry?
So that the people would repent. He's supposed to help them, like regret the way, basically to change.
Netzach, I can hear you. I can't see you. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't see everybody. Okay, I can see you now.
Because you're sharing, Rabbi.
Okay. So you're saying, Netzach, so people will have the time to repent. So if I'm asking you, if what you're saying is that basically Noah is supposed also, meanwhile that he is building up this ark, to go around with people and to say to them what's happening there and why he's doing it, right? Did Noah did that? What do you say, all of you?
I don't think so. Was it because it took him that long to grow the material that he needed to put on it?
So you're giving another explanation, and the explanation that you're giving is a technical explanation. It's supposed to take so much long to build it, therefore it's taking a very long time. I want to remind us all that the Bible is never speaking only, or is never mentioning technical issues. It's not his interest. It's not the interest of the Bible to speak about technical things. Okay, the Bible is only teaching us moral things. Okay,
Rabbi.
only moral things. It's teaching us. Let's read Rashi for a moment. Okay, let's read Rashi. Make yourself an ark, please. Done.
Rashi says, make for yourself an ark. Many ways to bring relief and rescue are available to him. Why then did he burden him with this construction? In order that the people of the generation of the flood should see him occupying himself with it for 120 years and ask him, for what do you need this? And he would say to them, the Holy One, blessed be he, is destined to bring a flood upon the world. Perhaps they would repent. And that's from Agadah, Bereishit 1:2.
Bereishit. Okay. Yes. So we know that this is our sages, this is what they're saying. So as Netzach said, the main issue is not only the technical issue, and God showed him to plant the trees and to wait 60 years that they will grow up and then to cut them down and to reorganize. But all of the people around asked him, why are you doing that? And they just laughed at him. They didn't really cared for him at all. And we know that Noah failed by the meaning, when I'm saying failed, he did not manage to rescue his generation. He did not manage to bring his generation to a stage that they will do repeatness. His generation basically passed away. Now we see that it's not being written down in Rashi, but we see that at the end of the flood. At the end of the flood, Noah is going out from the ark, and he sees that everything was demolished, that everything was destroyed, that the world needs to start from the beginning. And then he is crying to God. He's asking, he's saying to him, why did you do such a horrible thing? And why did you wipe off all of those people around and everything else? And then God is saying to him, answering him, rescued him because why didn't you? He hadn't prayed for your generation. And Noah said, oh, so I was guilty. And this is why he's bringing sacrificing in front of God when he's going out from the ark for himself, for his life. So this is the first thing that we can see about Noah, that somehow, I will say it like that. I need to be very careful because he was righteoushood. We all know that he was righteoushood, as it's also already written down. But he was righteoushood in a way that it was more for himself. I will say it like that. I will say it like that. We know that Adam and Eve had three sons. One was Cain. The other one was Abel, that we lost him in the beginning. And the last one was the Seth. Now, Cain, we spoke about this also last week and week before that. He was building up this world, while Seth was also his main importance, his main point was the connection with God. Noah, that was the destiny of Seth. I'm not speaking about Naamah, Noah's wife, that was from the destiny of Cain. Noah, from the destiny of Seth, he basically, when God spoke with him, he crawled down inside himself instead of going to his generations and trying to bring them to repentance. And this is what happened with him. Now I want to go on and to speak. How many kids Noah had? Please, everybody. Who knows? Who remembers?
Three.
Also three. And they are also a bit related, like Noah, like Adam and Eve. Okay, we have, instead of Seth, we have Shem. It's the same word. Instead of Cain, we have Ham. I will only explain here that Ham was a person that it was very important for him, this world and what's happening in this world. And we have, instead of Abel, we have Yefet. Yefet is the beauty. Okay, sorry? Who spoke? It's a beauty. Yefet is beauty. Okay, and we say that the heaven is regardless, and it's the beauty is very important, but it's not the main thing in this world. Okay, I will say it like that. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not the main thing in this world. And it's the same like Yefet. So Noah also had three sons. Let's speak for a moment. Who were the kids of Noah, of these three main kids? Let's go for a moment to chapter number 11. Number 10, I think. Just a moment. Chapter 10. Let's read for a moment. Who was the kids? Who are the main kids of those three sons? Okay. So we're starting with verse number 1. Please, Dan.
Verse number 1. And these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and sons were born to them after the flood.
Okay, so we're speaking about each one of them had sons that was born to them. And I want to show for a moment who are the sons of Ham. Please read in verse number 6.
And the sons of Ham were Cush and Mizram and Put and Canaan.
When we're saying Mitzrayim, we're saying the Egyptians. It's the same word, okay? Mitzrayim, Egyptians. So the sons of Ham were the Egyptians. We know exactly what was this, I will say, empire, the Egyptians, the old Egyptians. Till today, we are using a lot of things that are related to the Egyptians, the way of the stars, the way of the buildings, a lot of things we're still using since then. The Egyptians were a very big empire, very, very big empire. The next big, I will say not empire, but next big thing is the sons of Shem. The sons of Shem, we know that it's continuing to Abraham. Okay, to Abraham. We know another story, very important story, before we will continue on. It's very important to know that, is that Abraham is going to, because of the fast, because there is no food in Israel, he's going to Egypt. You all remember this story, that he's going to Egypt? When Abraham is getting, God is asking to go to Israel, and it is. And there was famine in the land, right? Verse number 10, please.
And there was famine in the land, and Abraham descended to Egypt to sojourn there because the famine was severe in the land.
Okay, and what's happening in this story, at the end of this story, is that Pharaoh is giving Abraham his daughter. His daughter, her name is Hagar. Okay, Hagar. And Hagar is the one that is bringing Ishmael. So we have from Abraham, that is from the destiny of Shem, and from Hagar is from the destiny of Ham, we have Ishmael. Ishmael, this is the Arab nation that we have today. Okay? Okay? Till here, everything is okay. Now I want to jump for a moment to Moses. Let's go to Moses. Our sages are saying that Moses lived 120 years. They don't need to say that. This we know, not Genesis, sorry, Exodus. We know that he lived for 120 years, but they are splitting those years to three. Maybe someone knows to what three, how many each part? It's very simple. Think about this. How much do we have in each part? We have 40 years in each part. Okay? So the first 40 years, this is what our sages are saying, that the first 40 years he was related, he was grown up. Where? In the first 40 years? People, please answer. It's very simple.
In Egypt.
In Egypt. He was born in Egypt. Where in Egypt he was born? In the palace, right? In the palace of the Egyptians, right? But on the other side, we know that he was the son of whom? He was the son of whom?
Amram.
Amram. Who was Amram? Very good. Who was Amram?
He's a Levite.
He was a Levi. Okay, we see here, V'elech ish, a man of the house of Levi, went and married the daughter of Levi. Okay, so those are, I will say, the priests of the Hebrew nation. So from one side, his destiny is very connected to the main part of the Hebrew tradition of Shem. On the other side, he is being grown up in the people, around the people of the destiny of Ham. Now we're starting to understand in the first 40 years that Moses was asking himself, who is going to continue on the history? The Hebrew people that I'm related to, or the Egyptian people that I'm related to? Okay? It's very important to understand that. I'm going to show this inside the verses a bit, okay? We know the story.
Right, Rabbi. They could have easily, been like a melting pot, like here in the West, in the U.S. and Canada especially. It's kind of a melting pot where we've had nations and nations and nations come over the centuries, and they've just melted together. And I think Moses saw that the Israeli people were in jeopardy of melding right into the Egyptians, right?
They were not melting inside the Egyptians. In a moment, I will show you why not. Okay, it was very defined as two different nations, and there was a reason why it was like that, and it was related also to the situation where the people of the destiny of Ham were sure that they need to hold and to occupy the destiny of Seth, of Shem. And this is what they did. This is exactly what they did. In a moment, I will show you this to you. But before, I want to share something. I want to read. Please read verse number 5.
Verse 5. Pharaoh's daughter went down to bathe to the Nile, and her maidens were walking along the Nile, and she saw the basket in the midst of the marsh, and she sent her maidservant, and she took it.
Okay, now we say here the basket, but in Hebrew, remember that one of the laws that we spoke here, that we need to learn the Bible in the Hebrew. In the Hebrew, the word basket is teiva. Teiva, it's the same word where God is saying to Noach, Aselecha, I will show this here. No, it's not here already. Aselecha teivat atzei gofer. The same word that God said to Noach to do. Okay? It's the same word. So basically what's happening here, it's hinting that she took from the water of the flood something. She took Moses from the water of the flood. Okay, it's a hint. It's a hint that it's related. And she sees that he's a Jewish boy, and she understands that. She's not ignoring that. And even though she's taking him to her home and everything else. And now I want to read, please, verse number 10 and verse number 11. Please, Dan, read those two
Verse
verses.
10.
And before you're reading it, please, everybody, say to me what is the question that is straight raising up when you read those two verses.
10. The child grew up, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became like her son. She named him Moses, and she said, "For I drew him from the water." Now it came to pass in those days that Moses grew up and went out to his brothers and looked at their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian man striking a Hebrew man of his brothers.
Now, what is the question that is raising up straight ahead? I want to remind us all, we spoke about this a few moments ago when Scotty said, ask us or mention something. The Bible is not saying to us technical issues.
Was Moses asking, like, or how did he know that he was Jewish? Like,
this is a good question. Even though it's not, you saying that you understand that when it's written down that he went out to his brothers, you think that he went out to the Hebrew people, right? Who said maybe he went out to his brothers, to the Egyptian people.
So he's seeing a violence.
He's seeing a violence. This is true. He's seeing a violence in verse number 11. But there's another question here. A very simple question. I will put Rashi. Maybe you will see the question in front of you. Just a moment. Let me put Rashi. Okay, let's go back. Verses 10 and 11. It's hard to say with Rashi twice. Okay, we'll continue on. Don't be. It's okay. It's okay that. By the way, in the English here, they did the translation not in the best way, because in the Hebrew, it says twice the same word. Okay, it says the word Vayigdal. Vayigdal, he grew up. And when we go to the next verse, sorry, it says the word, just a moment. Yeah. It says here, Vayigdal, you see? In verse number 10, it says Vayigdal. And in verse number 11, it says again, Vayigdal. So the question is, why do we need to say twice that Moses grew up? Why do we need to say twice? Verse after verse, we're saying Moses grew up, and then we're saying again, Moses grew up. Why? Why do we need to say this twice? And please read the first Rashi here, okay?
Moses grew up. Was it not already written the child grew up? Question mark. Rabbi Judah, the son of Rabbi Hillel, said the first one was Moses' growth in height, and the second one was his growth in greatness, because Pharaoh appointed him over his house. And that's from, yes.
Okay, we're going back to Timothy. Okay, who said that when he went out to his brothers, we're speaking that he went out to the Hebrew people. Maybe he went out to the Egyptian people. What happened there is very simple. Moses learned very good what's happening in the Egyptians' world. And it was very clear that everything there was the Hebrew people were captured under the Egyptians, but also the priests of the Egyptians were the most important people in the Egyptians' world, and everybody was captured under them. And then we had also Pharaoh, who was above everybody. He was some sort of an alien. Okay, this is how it was built up as a structure, okay, of how it's working. And Moses was part of this structure, and because he grew up in the palace, he basically was also part of this structure, but a very high part of this structure. So the first verse is saying that he grew up. He wasn't anymore a young child. He wasn't 6 years old. He was 18 years old. He was 20 years old. He was 30 years old. The second verse is saying that Pharaoh nominated him to become an important role in the Egyptians' part. In the Egyptians, I will say, hierarchy of the world,
Hierarchy, yes.
hierarchy of the Egyptians. Okay, so this is what we're saying. Now, when Moses is going out to his brothers, we really don't know which brothers he is looking on. We don't know if he's looking for the Hebrew people or for the Egyptians. How did he know that he was also Hebrew? I think that first of all, we remember that for the first 2 years, his mother gave him food. Okay, from her bread, his mother gave him food, and I think that everybody knew there that he was also a very Jewish person. Let's say it like that. So I'm not sure that it was a secret in front of him, but he was asking himself the main question that Moses asked himself: which destiny, which nation is going to lead the history? Is the nation of the Egyptians, of the destiny of Ham, or the nations of the Hebrew tradition, the destiny of Shem? What destiny is going to continue? And Moses have two inside him. And when he saw an Egyptian man striking a Hebrew man, then this is where he decides that he needs to go with those who are behaving morally. It's a bit relating, or a bit reminding us what's happening with God when he spoke with Noah, that he's saying the moral thing is more important here. So this is what he's doing. What is he doing? The next step that he's doing, Moses. Please read verse number 12.
Verse 12, and he turned this way and that way, and he saw that there was no man. So he struck the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
Now, the main story is saying that nobody saw him, so he killed him. But there is also something that we need to understand from the Midrash. Please read. And he saw that there was no man. See Rashi here?
And he saw that there was no man, i.e., he saw that there was no man destined to be descended from him, the Egyptian, who would become a proselyte, i.e., a convert.
So what we're saying here, basically, that Moses saw that there is no really main, I will say, history for the Egyptians' world. They won't be able to become moral people in the right way. Therefore, he threw them to the, I will say, destiny of the sand. And we know today, when we're looking backwards, that the Egyptian world lost it since then. Okay? But this is a decision that Moses is doing. A decision that I don't know what happened. Let's see.
These happen.
Yeah,
We still got half a dozen people or more on YouTube, so a lot of people on YouTube hung in. So if you want to continue, you were talking about Moses and growing up in the palace.
Just a moment. I'm trying to think who I can send him straight ahead. Also, a notice about this thing.
I'm going to copy and send it to a couple of people, Rabbi Goldberg, if that's okay.
Not a problem. I'm doing, yeah, of course. I'm doing your co-host. So you can, I think, no, you can. Can you go record this? It's okay.
I haven't stopped recording, Rabbi.
Okay. So let's continue on.
I can splice it again afterwards as well.
Okay, Tony is also with us. Here's Lisette also. Just a moment. My parents also are calling me. Just a moment. אני שולח לכם קישור בוואטסאפ, רק רגע הבא. לא יודע, משהו פה השתבש. אני שולח לך קישור בוואטסאפ, רק רגע.
So, folks, there you have it. We're going to continue this class, and then we're going to splice it all together and put it into one class. So, Rabbi Goldberg had a bit of a crash on the Zoom room, just so you folks out there listening know what happened. And we're going to resume in a second.
טוב, בסדר, אני ממשיך הלאה, בסדר אבא? אני ממשיך, תיכנסו. יש כאלה שבפנים כבר, כן. Okay, not a problem. Okay, let's continue on. We sent what we can do. I don't know what happened here. Let's continue on with Moses, and I'm sharing the screen again. with your permission, because we need to see inside how much he was involved with all of this. Just a moment where it is now. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, here we are. So we spoke about this, that Moses decided, okay, it's okay. Oh, just a moment, here it is, another one. My parents also. We spoke about this, that Moses basically decided to continue on with the Hebrew nation. But there is a very big problem with the Hebrew nation. And he sees that in the second day. Please read verse number 13, Dan.
Verse 13, he went out on the second day, and behold, two Hebrew men were quarreling, and he said to the wicked one, why are you going to strike your friend?
So first of all, the first thing that he sees, that also in the Hebrew men, there is a problem of moral problems. That one is eating the other one, just like in the Egyptians. So in the beginning, he thought that only because the Egyptians are not moral enough, this is why they're losing and they're not supposed to continue on. Now he sees that also in the Hebrew nation, there is a problem of moral problems. There are moral problems inside there also. But more than that, he's continuing on another verse, and he's amazed to hear something that is surprising him. Please read verse number 14.
And he retorted, who made you a man, a prince, and a judge over us? Do you plan to slay me as you have slain the Egyptian? Moses became frightened and said, indeed, the matter has become known.
Now, when he's saying, indeed, the matter have become known, what exactly is he saying? Please read Rashi for that. This is very important, because if I will ask people, what is he speaking about? Usually people will say to us, everybody knows that I killed the Egyptians, right? This is what he's saying here. Everybody
people would think.
But this is not what he's saying. Please read Rashi for a moment.
Indeed, the matter has become known to be interpreted according to its apparent meaning, that it was known that he had slain the Egyptian. Its midrashic interpretation, however, is the matter I was wondering about, i.e., why the Israelites are considered more sinful than all the 70 nations of the world, to be subjugated with backbreaking labor, has become known to me. Indeed, I see that they deserve it. And that's from Exodus, Rabbah 130.
So what exactly is he seeing suddenly? It's not that the matter has become known, that everybody knew that I killed the Egyptians. The matter has become known that I understand that also the Hebrew people are not eligible, are not well enough, are not in the stage so
upright.
They can lead upright to lead the history of the world. And this is where Moses, that is from one side, is from the destiny of the Hebrew people. On the other side, he's very related, very connected to the destiny of the Egyptians. He came to a dead end. So where exactly is he going? Where exactly is running to? For a moment, listen good, because it's very interesting. First of all, we see, just a moment, that, please read verse number 15.
15. Pharaoh heard of this incident, and he sought to slay Moses. So Moses fled from before Pharaoh. He stayed in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well.
Who are the Midian? Who are the Midian people? The Midian people. We need to know who are the Midian people. Now, don't be amazed, okay? We remember in Genesis that, just a moment, I think that people are looking for us still in, just a moment, because it's still related. Scotty is coming also with us. Okay. I admit Scotty, just a moment. Sorry for the inconvenience of this lesson today. I don't know what happened. Let's continue on. Let's understand who is those Midian people. Let's see, don't bother me anymore. Who are those Midian people? So we remember that Pharaoh gave Abraham his daughter, and we know that Ishmael was the son of Abraham and the daughter of Pharaoh. Fair enough, very good. Let's continue on with what's happening after Sarah is dying. You know, she's dying much more before Abraham was before Abraham died. At the end of the days of Abraham, okay, now we can read here, please. And the
Verse
life.
1.
Yes.
Verse 1. And the life of Sarah was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah.
And skip to verse number 3.
And Abraham arose from before his dead, and he spoke to the sons of Heth, saying,
that he wants the cave of Me'arat HaMachpelah, of the cave of the way to put Sarah. But there is a very important thing that's happening in verse number 27, in chapter 24, after we're finishing everything with the, not 24, sorry, 25, sorry. I think it's 25. Okay, let's read here. And Abraham took another wife, and her name was Keturah. Who was this Keturah? Who knows?
Hagar. Yeah.
Hagar. Who said Hagar? Very good. Who said Hagar?
Yeah.
Who is me? Okay. Okay, Keturah. We know this is Hagar. Great. So we're going back. Now Abraham is going to have, listen good, you're going to read it, you will be surprised, 12 kids. 12 kids from Hagar. Okay? You can read them. But please read first. The main thing that we want to read is only verse number 2, please. Done.
And she bore him Zimram and Jokshan and Medan and Midian and Jishbak and Shua.
So we're speaking of that. The Midian was the son of who? Son of Abraham and Hagar. Now we are starting to understand what's happening here with Moses. Why Moses went to Midian? Why he went to Midian? Moses is connected to the destiny of Abraham. Okay? He was the son of Levi, who was the grandson of Abraham. And he's also connected to the destiny of the Egyptians, the mother of Midian. It's very simple. Just we need to understand what's happening here. Moses is asking himself with whom the history is going to continue. He thought with the Egyptians, he said it can't be. He thought maybe with the Hebrew people, he said it can't be. Those two are not moral enough. So he's going to Midian. He's saying, okay, let's go to the roots of those destinies, to Abraham and Hagar, the daughter of Pharaoh. And let's see if from there is something. And he's going and he's sitting down in front of the priest of Midian, the most important person of Midian. Okay, this is where he's going to. And what does he see? What exactly does he see in the first thing that he's seeing in Midian? Please read verse number 17. No,
17.
Read verse number 16 and then 17. Sorry.
16. Now the chief of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the troughs to water their father's flocks. But shepherds came and drove them away. So Moses arose and rescued them and watered their flock.
What we see here, that the shepherd, who are the shepherds? The shepherds, those are the people who are leading the others. And he says that also the shepherd of Midian have not enough moral behavior. And he was frustrated. This is the only thing that I have to say. There he stopped running around and he was asking himself, who is going to lead the history? He's waiting to hear from God what is the next step to do. This is what's happening with Moses. And the one who is teaching him prophecy is connected to the destiny of Abraham. This is Jethro, who is the main person of Midian. Now we're starting to see what's happening with Moses. And he was the first one that, of course, we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, okay? But he was the first one that said that the main, I will say, part of him to decide how exactly to bring, I will say, religion to this world, it's supposed to be related to moral behavior. Again, I'm saying this sentence again, because especially in the modern days, especially after Immanuel Kant, we are disconnecting all the moral questions of the religion from moral question from one side, and the behavior of the nature of the world, of the what we're doing, on the other side. Okay, the religion and moral behavior are not connected. And Immanuel Kant went with this one stage ahead, and this is why we have today a lot of countries who are secular countries. Okay, it wasn't till Immanuel Kant, it wasn't there. Most of the countries were related with some sort of religion. They always hold in front of them the kings, the people who are in charge, some priests, some people, maybe they were very awful people, but they were always, it was very important for them to have this connection. Since Immanuel Kant also, we lost this situation, and Moses, he was the first one who said that the religion is related, and the connection with God, it's not religion, the connection with God is related to moral questions. And if you are not behaving morally, you can't get close to God. Now, I said it already, I explained this already a few times, that God decided to create this world with his free will, without anybody is forcing him. And the way that he created this world is by giving place to others to live. And this is the main way that we need to imitate God, by giving others way or space to live, not trying to conquer others, not trying to force others to behave in our way, okay? Not to take people from Algeria when French people are capturing them, and to teach them that the Gallis people were their forefathers, because now they are all not supposed to be barbarian, but they're supposed to be all French people, even though they are living in Algeria and they have no connection to the Gallis at all. But this is the way that the world was working in the last few hundred years. And Moses says, no, it's not supposed to be like that. Everybody needs to have a moral way, and this is the only way of getting related to God. Till here, everything is clear. Everyone, someone have any questions? If not, we can continue. It's okay. It's okay? Everything is okay?
I'm good, Rabbi. Yeah, no problem on this end.
Okay. So while Moses 3 times is behaving in a moral way, first of all, when he sees the Egyptians doing bad things to the Hebrew people, he is killing the Egyptians. Then when he sees 2 of his brothers, the Hebrew people, he's also interfering and saying it can't be. And the third one was in the place where he was a stranger, okay? Someone is coming here, and suddenly he sees that the shepherd are bothering those girls, and he's also interfering and saying, it can't be like that. You need to behave morally. When Moses is passing all those 3, I will say, 3 behavior issues that God is testing him, and he's passing this test. This is where God will say to him in the next chapter, he will expose himself in front of the sneh, in front of this place, and he will tell him, the truth is, I chose the Hebrew people, and it's already written down by Abraham that they're going to be enslaved in the Egyptian country, but you need to go to the Hebrew people and take them out, and they will lead the history, and they will also get the 10 commandments, and it will be expanded more than the 7 commandments of the Noah laws, and they will lead the moral way of the behavior and connection with God in this world. Moses, if we will compare this to Noah, okay, and this is where we started, Moses is, I will say, the full appearance of Noah. While Noah, when God told him there is a problem, and therefore we need to you need to build an ark. And Noah said to himself, okay, I'm saved, so everything is okay. And he went inside to himself to the ark and didn't really did his main job to bring repeatedness to all of the people around him. Moses was all the time fighting against the immoral behavior and tried his best to bring the moral understanding of the relationship with God to this world. So we see that Moses, when God is saying, I'm going to save Noah, it's not because Noah was righteous. We said about this. Noah was righteous in a very low level, but because he had inside the spark that Moses will become from this person, from Noah. And therefore, he gave him, I will say, mercy that he will manage to live this flood, because there will be someone that will go out from this ark, Moses, to bring this world to a better world with a religion that is related to the moral side. By the way, I must also mention that the first time that we see that there is a religion that is starting to speak about good and bad, this was when we lost the prophecy. Okay, at the same era that we lost the prophecy, and the Hebrew people went to the Persian, Parsim, the Persian people. It was, I think, something like maybe even 12 centuries before the counting era, okay, PCA. And then we see that there is Artaxerxes, who is saying that there is the God of good and the God of evil. This was the first time where in the idolatry world, they started to speak relating about good and bad. Till then, all the idolatry that there was in this world was not related to good and bad. It was only trying to have good relationship with the aliens that they won't be mad. And if they didn't brought enough rain, so we need to sacrifice one of the people in the community in front of God. It wasn't related at all to the question of good and bad. The question of good and bad only started when the Hebrew people started to spread out in the Persian time, and then we're starting to see that people are starting to speak about good and bad. And then it's continuing on also in the old Greek world, where we have groups of wicked people that are speaking also about good and bad, and we can continue this on, but this is something that already starts with Moses, and it's very important to understand the relationship between the right behavior and the moral side and the religion that Moses is bringing here. And we already spoke that the religion of the religion, it's not religion because it's a full nation, okay, of the behavior of the nation of the Hebrew people is with the harmony between man and God, man and himself, and man with others. And the harmony of those behavior is very important to understand this right behavior that we have also in the 7 laws of Noah and also in the Hebrew tradition. Mainly, this is the main thing that I wanted to speak today. Questions till now. I can stop the share, and people, if you have any questions, this is the time. I'm sorry that we are short here in the people. By the way, we are not. We have here, we have 12 people on the 11, 12 people with me, 12. Yes. Questions. People, do you have any questions? I'm sorry for the disconnection that we had in the middle, but this is life. If we don't have any questions, so it's okay. And in any case, I'm going to remind us all that another 2 hours, we're going to have another virtual tour.
Virtual tour.
That was very, very good last week. Very good. People really enjoyed it. So we're going to have another one this tonight. Questions? Do we have any questions? Everything was clear. If everything is clear, I have a question to leave you for next week. Okay. I want you to read. In Genesis chapter 18.
Chapter
Okay,
18.
Chapter 18 in Genesis. And to understand exactly the behavior of Abraham and to try to understand the difference between him and Noah, and also in Exodus number 32, to see exactly how Moses behaved and to understand the difference between those three, but with examples. Okay? Those are the things that a bit of you can call it homework, but it's not homework. It's a bit of opening the mind. We'll speak about this next week.
Excellent.
I've got a question real quick.
Yes, just a moment. I'm recording this. Okay, continue. Yes, go on.
Okay, we know that it took the complete time of the building of the ark, from the time he planted the forest till he harvested till he actually built, 120 years. We know that man's life was cut down to 120 years, and I've read the rabbis tell us that makes us become more in touch of our morality, that we don't have, since we're not living all that long time. We can't say, oh, we've got time, when we don't. So it's so we get in touch with our morality as we get older. So do we know, did the generation of the flood know that they were in their last 120 years, to where that would make them in touch with their morality, or did they ignore that? I mean, what I'm saying is, could that 120 years of building the ark mean, say, okay, you're in your last 120 years, you need to be thinking about things? Could that have been something going on there? Well, we know Noah didn't challenge the people, but in a way, did they know that they had 120 years left, and that was a challenge to them?
First of all, I must mention that it might be that we will disconnect it again, but then I can't do anything because this is the next lesson, and we can speak until we will get disconnected. Okay, so it's okay with me. Now, it's going like that. Think about our days today. Okay, think about our days today, where I saw a very nasty note on the Facebook last week. Okay, it's I invited people to come to the virtual tour that we're going to do another 2 hours. Okay, and someone Christian, he wrote down another way that the rabbis trying to take money from the Christian people. Okay, now why I'm saying this, because think about our days today. Okay, we're starting to see more and more people are opening their eyes and understanding that the Christian world, I will say, hide a lot of truth in the main people of the Christian world try to hide a lot of truth, but there are a lot of people still that are not opening their eyes. Now I'm asking you, those people understand that those are the days of the end of days, that they need to start to open their mind and to think about things in a different way, or to try to adjust things, to ask questions, those things? No, they are sleeping. They are awakened, but they are sleeping, right? I think that this is also what happened with the generation of Noah. Noah was saying there all the time to people, listen, those are the last days. You need to do repentance. Those who will do repentance, God will save them. And they were awakened, but they were sleeping, basically. Okay, all of you told here something like 3 or 4 weeks ago how much you tried to ask questions in the Christian world, and you are all the time being closed down, so you don't believe enough. This was the answer that you got, all of you. Okay, and most of the people are still staying in the stage that, okay, so maybe I don't need to ask more questions. So they are awake, but they are asleep. I think this was the situation of the people of Noah. More than that, there is a midrash that says that in the last 7 days before the flood came, before the flood, God bring a rain, but it was supposed to be, it could have been for blessing or for the flood. And why he waited for 7 days? Because Metushelach died. And Noah said there, people, look, we are, this is starting. And the Midrash is saying that people laughed at him, say to him, come on, you're creeping us up, we don't believe you. And then he went inside to the ark, and all of the rest, looked aside. And unfortunately, we have too many people or too much in
I
this
have a
world.
question.
Yes, not a problem. Of course, is it? Yes. No.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. The question I have is, how do you build a teva inside of you? Doesn't it mean that you have to build an ark inside of yourself and where you can be saved? And also, I've heard that the word teva also means word. And how
the truth is that the word teva in Hebrew,
means word.
we lost the connection. I lost the connection. No, Lisette.
I lost it too. Hello.
I'm sorry, I lost your connection. I didn't hear all the questions, so please.
Okay. All right. The question is that the word teva means.
Lisette, we lost your connection.
Oh.
I lost your connection. Yeah, Lisette, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
I lost the connection. I didn't hear all the question. I can hear you.
Oh, we're getting some breakup. Lisette, why don't you write your question down, and we'll tackle it next week. How would that work, Rabbi? Oh, I think we've got some freezing going on. So, folks, we're going to wind this class down. I know that Rabbi's still got some questions to answer, but, folks, I want to encourage you to write your questions down for the Rabbi, and we'll hopefully, weather permitting, next week, and we sort through our computer issues, that it all comes together smooth. I'm also going to clip this class and take out the portions so I've got a steady, solid recording. So, folks, till next week, it's been a beautiful class. A lot of detail about Moses in this one. So we're going to make sure it's all put together properly. And I'll take down the current one that's up on YouTube and put up a fresh one. So if you want to review it, it's going to be there for you. So have a lovely, lovely, lovely week, folks.